Welcome to another dose of virtual vitamin Z. This is DZTV for the week of July 13th, 2020. I'm your co-host, Stephen.
And your other co-host, Claire. Let's get started with some Detroit Zoological Society updates for the week. Tuesday, July 14th is World Chimpanzee Day. So join us as we'll be celebrating the chimpanzees who live in our care here at the Detroit Zoo all day, including Jane's second birthday.
If you're interested in exploring the natural world, head on over to Belle Isle and participate in BioBlitz and Beyond by taking photographs of some of the different plant and animal life you see and then uploading them to iNaturalist.
To wrap up updates for the week, make sure you tune in on Saturday, July 18th at 11 a.m. on Facebook, as Kerry Morris Art Productions will be sharing a new Palm Oil Superheroes puppet show. You may remember Kerry Morris and her team doing a bunch of live presentations last year here on the Detroit Zoo grounds, including puppet shows on the Panamanian golden frog, wolves, and polar bears. Be sure to tune in. Stephen, over to you for the Animal Live Cam Plays of the Week.
All right, let's roll the footage. Here we go. It's the Animal Live Cam Plays of the Week, and it was a pretty hot week out, so we decided to go inside for our animal sports, starting off in the Holden Reptile Conservation Center with number 3, iguana digging. Now, this Sonoran black iguana has a great story. He was actually rescued and found sanctuary at the Detroit Zoo. He's getting a good start digging with his right front limb, and then he starts this transition to digging from the right front limb, as you can see there, to going with the back limb as well. A delightful display of duplicate digging. And then he closes up with getting a little bit of the left front limb going, getting a little bit of digging there. So he looks up at the camera first, and then he finishes up with the right front limb again. Great job. Moving on to number 2. Number 2 is Reptile Hide and Go Seek. Now, one thing you may find if you're in the Holden Reptile Conservation Center is it's hard to find some of these reptiles. Where is the western pond turtle here? Can you find him? There he is in the bottom right corner. This is a great example of how this really naturalistic habitat provides them lots of opportunities for cover. You might be saying here, okay, this is pretty easy, except we're not looking for the Magister uromastyx. We're actually looking for the Sahara spiny-tailed lizard hiding off on the right there. And then finally, we are looking for a black-breasted leaf turtle here. Where is he? He's in the right corner there, and as his name suggests, he kind of does look like a leaf. Before we go to number 1, we're going to go to some honorable mentions. Penguin diving compilation. So here's one. There's another little hop first. There's another little hop and a dive. And now here is a great chain reaction. We got 1 there, but wait for it. Just be patient. There's 2. Can we get 3? Can we get 3? Can we get 3? There's 3. How about 4? How about 4? How about 4? Looks like maybe not. Just kidding. Yep, we get 4. All right, let's watch this in slow motion now. There's 1 again. Great form. There's 2, he approaches, look at that little hop, and then hops on in there. Great form, gets almost vertical with that dive. Another little hop and another dive. Great job. And then here is that chain reaction again in slow motion. It starts off on the right side with a Gen 2 penguin. And then it looks like another Gen 2 is going to follow along, waddling down and diving in. And we've got a third Gen 2 hopping down and diving in right after. And then a fourth Gen 2 looks curious, maybe seems a little bit hesitant, but ends up diving in as well. And just because we can, let's watch this in fast motion now. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, number 1 is Penguin. I can really only call it Penguin Magic. I want to make it exceptionally clear that I do not doctor this footage, but watch what just happened. Like I said, that seems like magic to me. Let's watch it in slow motion. This is a Gen 2 penguin hopping out of the water almost vertically. One more time in ultra slow motion. Again, I'm amazed that this is something that these Gen 2 penguins can really do. I am just blown away by it. All right, now we're going to go over to our feature story on keeping it cool at the Detroit Zoo.
So the last week was really hot here at the Detroit Zoo and throughout the Metro Detroit region, and many people wonder, so what do animals do to keep cool at the zoo? Well, We've taken photos of some of the different things that we've seen animals doing to keep cool, and then we've recreated them and rated them on how effective they were. We're going to start off with standing in the shade. As you can see, these Canada geese are standing in the shade as they're grazing here. Emily, our senior heat wave correspondent, rated it a 7 out of 10. Stephen?
8 out of 10. It was pretty good, especially if you get a nice big tree to stand under. I highly recommend it. Next up, we saw some animals hanging out by the pool. And this is Pende hanging out by a pool in his habitat. And we rated this as well. Claire?
I'd give this one a 5 out of 10, mostly because I had to talk my children out of the pool before I could start trying it out myself. So that was a little bit of a struggle. Stephen, your thoughts on this one?
As you can see from my facial expression here, not very happy. I don't have a pool, but I did have a Tupperware bin, or a Rubbermaid bin, I should say, and looks a little small for what I was hoping for.
Yeah. Did you find the hose water to be a little chilly? That was factored in there too.
It was definitely cold, I will say that.
Next up, we have standing in the pool, as we caught a picture of this bison standing in the pool to cool off. This one, I'd rate a 9 out of 10. Pretty comfortable. The pool water had started to warm up at this point. I was feeling pretty good about this one. Emily came in with an 8 out of 10. Creative use of a cooler, though, to supplement for her lack of a pool.
Next up, we saw that some of the animals would actually hang out in the pool, like one of our grizzly bear brothers here. So we tested this one out as well. Claire, first of all, excellent job recreating that photo, but apparently not as relaxing or refreshing as you thought.
This one was kind of challenging. May have overfilled the pool a little bit, lost a little bit of water in the process, and again, it was pretty chilly.
I had a similar experience. It was cool and refreshing, but another thing to consider is what you're going to be doing the rest of the day, such as sitting in the office working. Think about that before you hop in on this method.
Our next way to stay cool starts with eating fruit and vegetable popsicles. So here are two of the lemurs in our care eating a frozen treat that was made for them by the animal care staff. I'd give this one a 10 out of 10. I managed to find my favorite flavor of popsicle. It was a great way to cool down.
Looks like Emily gave this one a 7 out of 10. I'm not sure, but that looks like it might be a carrot in the ice. And I will say that the only vegetables I had were Brussels sprouts, and I didn't even rate that because I just wouldn't recommend it all.
I will say the only drawback to those frozen popsicles is you have to hold on to them, and your hands get pretty cold. I have to give Emily some credit here for holding on to this chunk of ice. I don't know how long she did, but your fingers start to get tingly after a few minutes.
Definitely. I think we really need to celebrate her commitment as our senior heatwave correspondent there.
Agreed.
And then finally, staying inside is a method that we've seen a lot of the animals using, and that explains why when you go to the zoo, you might not always see animals out on habitat. They have that choice of where they want to be, and it could be that they're staying in the shade or staying inside. And so this is a great opportunity to appreciate the expansive habitats as well as the recognition that these animals do have choice of where they want to be on hot days. Looks like Emily was enjoying herself inside, rating a 9 out of 10, right next to what looks like a air conditioning duct.
I have to say, points there for strategic placement as long as you're staying inside. Wise choice.
Also, sunglasses indoors, like the look.
Never be too safe.
And then I also rate this 9 out of 10. If you sit by a nice window, you get to appreciate the outside while keeping it cool.
I like the plant that you have there to supplement there. It's almost like you're outside.
And finally, I want to call out one other method that animals use, balancing on a raft. And Claire doesn't know that we included this one, but let's go to the next image here. That's just great form, 10 out of 10 right there, balancing on a raft in the pool. Great job there.
Thanks for putting that one in there. That would have to say that was the most challenging one. Yep.
to turn it over to Claire for our virtual education program preview.
All right, we have a great lineup for you this week. This morning, you're watching DZTV with Claire and Stephen right now at 11 a.m. on Facebook. At 4 p.m., we're going to check in with Erin as she has a Belle Isle Nature Center update.
Then on Tuesday the 14th, it is World Chimpanzee Day. So at 11 and 4 o'clock, Claire and Akila are going to be celebrating.
Really looking forward.
What are you guys going to be doing?
Really looking forward to that one. I know we'll be celebrating Jane's second birthday. It's just a really exciting time out in the chimpanzee habitat now with the arrival of Zane and his integration into the troop. So it's going to be an exciting double episode day all about chimpanzees.
Awesome.
On Wednesday, you can start your day at 11 with Brad. He'll be out learning more about the wildebeest towards the back of the zoo. And at 4 p.m., I'll be back with an update about the dusky gopher frog conservation work that we've been assisting with.
On Thursday at 11, I will be at our wolf habitat talking about our two wolves, Casca and Renner. And then at 4 o'clock, Sandy will be continuing her Monarch Mysteries series by talking about instars. And I will tell you, Claire, I don't know what an instar is, so that's one of the mysteries that I'll be looking forward to getting an answer on.
On Friday, July 17th, we're going to start the day with David as he's going to be talking about aardvarks. And we'll wrap up the week with Zara talking about greater RIAs at 4 p.m. Oh, we have a breaking news alert, Stephen, a breaking news alert.
I think we're going to be going over to our senior careers correspondent, Akila, right now.
Let's see what she's got to say.
Hey, Claire and Stephen, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to let guests and viewers out there know about all the careers that we're going to be having at the Detroit Zoo. So make sure you check out everything online and you can get a snapshot and a behind the scenes of some of the careers that we have.
Thanks, Akila. Over to you, Claire.
All right, for our weather report today, we're going to check in with Maurice, one of our guest relations supervisors. Maurice, how's the weather up at the front of the zoo?
Thanks, Claire. As you can see, the weather is gorgeous. We've got guests joining us. If you would like to visit the Detroit Zoo, make sure you go to detroitzoo.org and book your time tickets. Back to you, Claire.
Thanks, Maurice. Well, that wraps up this episode of DZTV. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in this morning. Stay cool and stay healthy, Detroit.